So today we will see about. So in with respect to Selenium, we covered almost everything, basics and all. We'll see a few scenarios and we'll go to framework creation.
Okay.
Right. But today I just wanted to cover this window handling,
Okay.
alerts, iframes. So I mean, if time permits, we can go to few other topics also. Let's see. So we know, right, the window handling. What are difference between Windows alerts? Even I can we can see these pop-ups. Leave this iframes for now, but window we all know, right? For example, I have these two tabs here. These two tabs are actually windows, two separate windows, right? Open. Even if I have this one more window open like this, it is also a window. So this is one window, and this is also one window, right? Two different windows. So a window can be a separate window like this itself, or it can be a tab in a browser. Both are windows only, right? So that is window. But I just wanted to understand from you people, like, what is the difference between alerts and pop-ups?
Pop-up means if the file got uploaded, it will show some successful message. So that's the pop-up.
Okay, it may be an alert also. Actually, I think
Okay.
alert we can simulate only. Let's try to simulate itself the alert. Uh, Actually, this particular let's do. Okay, this particular console, right? There's something called console here. You see in the browser and all, right? Hello. So what this console is like? You can simulate this JavaScript commands here. You can write whatever JavaScript command here, and it will execute. You know this thing actually console. Hello, Mithun or Vinay. I mean, we three people are only there. Like, come on, we'll interact and do things. Able to hear me, right?
Oh, yes, Karthik.
Okay.
Yes, Karthik.
So we can do whatever JavaScript commands that is there in the console itself. We can execute JavaScript here. Actually, JavaScript is something which is a client side programming language, right? What's a client side? Client is something which is something like browser. So JavaScript you cannot run natively in our system, right? It should be run inside a browser like this. So it has some special methods or functions only JavaScript or very few languages like JavaScript has to handle this browser capabilities. So one of the browser capabilities is alert, right? Alert can be simulated manually by this alert method available in JavaScript. So it is not actually any particular what to say web element to try it. It is actually alert given by the browser itself. So what we can do, we cannot just go and inspect this particular element in our. So what we'll do generally, if the scenario comes, we'll just say driver dot switch root alert, right? The basic command. So this command is there, right? So either we can send some data and click on OK, or we can send driver dot alert dot accept or dismiss. So sometimes there may be, this is a simple alert with only OK button, but there are maybe um, alerts with two buttons like OK or cancel like that. So if you say dismiss it, then the particular alert will be dismissed actually. So if you want to accept the alert, you can say driver dot switch to dot alert dot accept. Accept method is there. Can do like this. So maybe we'll try to see an alert page actually. Okay. There must be some page to simulate that. I'm just checking for that actually. I think we can use his website itself. We'll try to do it manually once. Hey, sorry. Uh, okay. We'll try to simulate this itself. So we'll go to this website, enter some random number here. Maybe we'll even wait for 1 second. Let's try to this. Oh, sorry, I didn't submit the form, I guess. Okay. Okay, we are able to simulate this. It just gave the alert and it accepted the alert. Maybe we'll try to dismiss this alert once. I think it went in a flash. So this is basically it. Alerts, nothing much. Most of the times, nowadays, what happen is like in modern days, this alert is not kind of used. There are many frameworks here in the front end, right? So what happened? They are simulating this alert kind of thing to the framework itself. For example, maybe I'll try to show a simple example in my application itself. Mm, sorry. So what happens, for example, if I wanted to create any email campaign, this is the kind of alert, which is what, no, I mean, this kind of a pop-up, right? So most of the time, what happens is like you can even inspect this actually, inspect this, and you can find this web element in a DOM. So this is what we call pop-up. So most of the time, people nowadays use this pop-ups only. We don't use alerts nowadays. Right, so alert is kind of outdated because it unnecessarily intervenes in the entire window itself, not with respect to browser but with the entire window itself. So people write a component kind of, this is kind of a basic component with a replaceable text. So if I wanted to create some other thing, so here we see it's a create email campaign, right? I can just enter and just cancel or create. Or if I go to some other like this and just say create, so it's a creating transition here, but you can see the structure and layout for both are the same actually. So it just that the text are different. We can replace the text always, and you can perform this. So this is kind of a pop-up which you can handle. So pop-ups are like web element only. It is nothing special. It is called pop-up because while it is there, the other fields are blanked out, right? So only because of that we call this as pop-up. It just pops up in the front of the screen, right? So the name itself says it can be basically accessed by any web element like regular thing. If I wanted to do this, I can just say um, find a XPath like we do for normal web element itself, right? So if I say input, it has only one input field, right? This one, the form where I wanted to submit and all. So fine, right? This is basically it. And if even if you wanted to create or something, you can just go here and find this particular XPath or whatever locator you wanted to find, and you can basically click on it, will do. So So generally, if you see this WebDriver weight, this explicit weight is there, right? There are many capabilities that it is providing. So one of the capability is waiting for alert to be present. You can see the option here, right? So I just used the three dot sleep here, but you should not use like this. So what you should do, you should wait for the particular alert. Most of the time, so whatever basic scenario which we wanted to do can be done using this explicit wait itself. So it has this method called alert.present. So it will wait for the particular alert to appear, then we can take whatever action we wanted to take for it. I would dot switch to alert dot accept and those things, right? So do some action over the particular element, wait for alert to present, and if it is there, driver dot switch to the alert dot accept or dismiss. I think many primitive applications still uses the basic JavaScript and they use alerts in like maybe banking applications. I think most of the banking and insurance applications, these alert concepts are still there. Okay. Fine, everyone.
Yeah, got it.
Okay. So okay. That's a basic difference between an alert and pop-up. And we also know what's an iframe, right? What's an iframe?
Can you go through it once if you don't know?
Sorry.
Can you show how to handle iframe?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So no, before that, I just wanted to
Karthik,
understand.
one question. Am I audible?
Yes, yes, yes,
Hello.
yes, yes. You are audible, Varsha, right? Yeah. Can you hear me?
Am I audible, Karthik?
Yes, Varsha. You are. Am I audible to other people, right?
Yes, Karthik.
Okay. We'll drop a chat. Okay, I think she dropped. Okay. Anyway, we'll continue. So we'll see iframe, but I just wanted to understand like what is an iframe actually? Why we need an iframe itself in our iframes are nowadays very extensively used actually. One thing I wanted to show in my application itself. Okay, that's that. Varsha, can you hear me?
Yeah. I had network connectivity issues. Actually, can you go to that script which you were writing now?
Okay.
In this, you have directly given driver dot switch to alert, right?
Yes.
Don't we have to use the alert? Alert is equal to we used to use something like that, right?
No, no, generally not. Alert, alert is called new alert. That one.
Yes. Yeah. That one I meant.
No, no, generally not necessary. So we are. You saw that example. We were able to accept the alert. Actually, accept or dismiss the
Yes.
alert. Yeah.
Okay.
So generally, it's not necessary actually.
Okay.
Okay. Um, so okay, this iframe, right? Just I want to understand from you people like what's an iframe actually? Can anyone say? Hello.
Karthik, I think it's better you tell us.
Okay. So generally, what we study is like iframe is kind of something we it is a kind of special block in our web page. You should switch to iframe to access it element. Why it is actually there? There should be some purpose for the iframe should be there. Right? This is one very good use case for iframe. For example, this is my application where I'm working. Right? What happened? This is a particular we develop this application in our company, but we don't develop every feature, right? Some features might be developed by some other person and given as service to us. So what happens? There is something company called B. I'll show that company. So this is that company. So which is actually designing this kind of email builder actually. So this is a company which develops a concept called email builder. What you can do, so you can see this UI, right? You can drag and drop a text element, image, HTML. You can just create a basic HTML email which you want. You are seeing this regular promotional emails and all, right? So these are built using these tools. See, you can. This is the actual UI. This is the UI which is provided by this B company. It is not something which we develop. For example, if I wanted to insert, it's a template, right? It's an email template. If I wanted to remove something, I can do. For example, I can remove this block, go there and remove it. As simple as that, right? You don't have to edit this HTML manually by yourself and create everything. Um, you can just drag and drop an image, and you can browse, and you can select some image here. You can even create your own HTML here, right? You can, I mean, you can even create a GIF and stickers. You can search for gifs in Giphies. So these things are there, right? So how actually we are seeing this this particular UI is not developed by us, but how actually we are seeing this UI? It is because they have given this UI as iframe, right? If you inspect this, uh, see if I'm searching for iframe, this entire thing, if I hover over this entire thing, if it is highlighted, right? This entire section of block is highlighted, right? So this entire section is given as an iframe. See, if you open this, there's a separate HTML document that is loading, right? HTML head body. It's a separate HTML itself, right, inside an iframe. So our top HTML is here, but inside an HTML, you see another HTML here, HTML head body and all. So you can have a separate web page itself that is provided by a third party to you and embed inside your particular web page and show. So what's the thing about this particular iframe is that you can just go and switch this to this iframe and find some basic elements. For example, I can just so I can just switch to this frame, right, either through index or through name uh, to this particular frame, to this particular frame. So what happens is like I cannot go and manipulate any data here. That's the important point. For example, manipulate in the data in the sense in the testing we cannot do in the client side. But what we are doing in the front end application is like getting this particular iframe and displaying it here, right? For example, this is our front end code actually. So we have this JavaScripts and all, right? You can actually manipulate many things by writing some JavaScript inside our particular web page. For example, I said you about this console, right? Okay, maybe I'll put a better example. Okay, so you can see this particular command, right? There is a command called document. Document is something, it's a keyword that is given by JavaScript to us to access this entire DOM. So document means DOM, our data object model, I mean DOM elements, right? um, so what it has some inbuilt methods to access this particular element, and you can do manipulations over it. For example, if I'm just getting this element by some tag name we call span, it's giving as a collection, right? It's giving as an array, right? So these are the elements that are matching your criteria, uh, right? So you can access the entire DOM structure like this actually, right? And you can do a manipulation over the particular DOM structure itself using JavaScript. So JavaScript has these capabilities to perform and manipulate everything in your particular browser elements. So you can get an element, it can change its behavior, it can change its properties like color, appearance, everything. So that's why we use JavaScript, right, for giving the capabilities. So so if you see this, you can get the property of this using these methods, and you can do whatever you want to do with the element. For example, I'll just mhm. So I just got this first element. So I can do many things. So I can click on it. I can even blur it. I can autofocus on it. So I can get this inner text. I don't know whether inner text is there. It's there. So see, conversion rate optimization, right? So this whatever we try to do in Selenium, we can do in JavaScript as well. And JavaScript has many additional capabilities compared to Selenium to access the particular DOM. Selenium capabilities are limited. It's not as extensive as JavaScript. Um, so, but what's the important thing we want to know is, right? We cannot go and manipulate the iframe data like this. We cannot just access the iframe because this particular iframe is provided by third party, and we cannot go and access there and do some manipulations over it. We just cannot. So that's an important use case of an iframe. So if I wanted to give some my functions to a third party, I have to put it in iframe and I have to give it as a HTML file so that they don't access it or manipulate it according to their needs. Right? So only we have this JavaScript executor. A few scenarios you might have seen scrolling to an element, or I've seen, right? So some of the things we use JavaScript executor only. So JavaScript is very powerful actually to do some operations over a web element. So just if we can learn some basic JavaScript, it will be very helpful. You will get to know many things in Selenium also while using this JavaScript. So that's a very important use case of Selenium. So obviously there are a few things which we have to notice while handling this iframe, right? I just can, if we wanted to access the inner frame, I just have to switch to that inner frame and access those elements. Just because we saw why, right? I cannot access iframe element from the outside or manipulate. I just go inside this iframe and actually do some data. This iframe is there here, but I just cannot access this particular element, this HTML header element, by just sitting here in this div, right? So because it's a particular thing which is provided by third party, I have to go inside that and I have to access some element, right? So that is the thing we need to do. I have to switch to this iframe using this index or using any property of this iframe. So I have to switch. Then I can probably go inside and regular thing driver.find element like that. Again, if I wanted to, if I have an iframe inside an iframe, then I have to come to this iframe here, and I have to come to this particular iframe. Let's say its index is 0. Again, I have to do one more switch. I can switch the particular element using its name. Right? Sometimes a frame will have a name, name property, name attribute. I can switch using that. Then once switch using that, then I can go and find regular things only, right? Regular whatever you want to do over the particular web element, all the options are available only. So if you wanted to switch to immediate parent frame, for example, if I wanted to have a iframe inside an iframe, like this, I have iframe. I have a iframe inside an iframe. I can just switch to. Let's say I'm inside this particular iframe. I have to switch to this iframe to access those elements. I can use this parent frame actually. This parent frame method switches to immediate iframe actually, right? And I have this one more method called switch to default content. It will go to the top structure of the DOM. And these are the methods we need to know, and why iframe is needed. And these are the methods basically. I think there is nothing else to see in iframe actually. Iframe, you just have to understand that iframe is a special special enclosement in our DOM, so that some third-party service can give a HTML itself to us, and we have to access the elements. We cannot manipulate. We just can access the elements and just try to do some operation over it using Selenium. I can switch to, if you want to go to inner iframe, I have to switch to inner iframe. So whenever you are into that iframe and access the elements of that particular iframe only accessible. Even though this inner iframe is actually part of the main iframe, you cannot access the element of inner iframe. You have to just switch to this iframe and you have to access the element from this inner iframe. There may be some div here. There may be some span here. So I have to access this element by switching to this iframe only. And this main iframe can have even HTML body. And this iframe itself. So if I wanted to access this particular body from this iframe, I have to switch to the parent and access this. And I want to switch to default content, the top DOM. I can always use switch to the default content. Fine, right?
Karthik,
Yes, Shiva.
you have this iframe handling in any demo websites you have. Does the Guru 99 have that?
We will see. Okay. Maybe if you go to his websites itself, you will have some website. If I think he has some iframe in this website. Okay, he has this video content embedded in iframe. I've used so many CSS. No, it's not a good example actually.
Yeah, I think so.
Maybe I'll come up with a better iframe example. Um, See, there is okay. Maybe we'll see a better example. But what I'm trying to say is like there is nothing complex about iframes actually. And when I was starting to learn iframe, it looked kind of complex, but it's actually not. You just have a particular block of iframe. Maybe we'll try to access this head element. We'll try to do one thing actually.
Karthik, I have shared only. Can you try that?
Okay. It says my browser doesn't support iframe. I'll try to access this in Firefox. It's not a secured connection actually. I know this is not a good example. Uh, Maybe I'll come up with a better example actually. Maybe I'll come with the example where it says in my application itself. Maybe we used to somewhere. Maybe I'll try to show now itself. Okay. I said you about that B editor, right? You have access to that particular B editor using this XPath iframe itself actually. Let's try to see if they used somewhere this particular element. Okay, I think this is a better example. So what we have done, we just found this iframe. I showed that iframe, right? The B editor. This particular thing, they switched to this iframe. Okay, they switched to this iframe, and what they did, they just drag and drop a particular element from there. You can see they have did some mouse operations. They click and hold the element. Each element they have clicked and hold is this text element actually. Uh, this text element they have clicked and drag and dropped here. Right? Okay, they have holded it and they have released it, and they have performed this mouse operation, and they have given some example. Hey, this is FM test automation like that. Maybe we'll try to run this particular program itself. Let's try to see. I think we can run this. Oh, sorry, I think it's running in headless mode. This is one of the pop-up examples, or we just can access using regular web element itself. I'm just trying to send keys and this drop-down list. They're selecting some things. Okay, I think this is okay. Okay, I think this is a different example, different feature file I've run, I think. Oh. Okay, we'll try to run this itself. So another important thing also we have to notice is like how far we are accumulating the data over our web page actually in our application actually. So in the last step of our previous automation example, we have deleted actual thing which we have created, right? So we don't want to accumulate all the things that we have created and just want to chunk up our application. So whenever it's possible, after testing is over, we can just delete the whatever resource that we have created, if it is possible. The applications may vary. This is kind of an application where it's an extensively related to user giving input to the particular page. Most of the time it's a user input kind of scenario in my application. It varies from application to application. I'm not sure why it's waiting too much. Maybe the test is failing, I think. Let's see. Okay, I think some problem with the code or run a wrong feature. Maybe I'll try to come with a better example. But the thing is that we just switch to the iframe access the element. That's a basic thing. Maybe I'll check whether this particular test is pass or fail. Okay, I think it was intended to not to do that. Maybe we'll come with a better example next session itself. Okay, I'm not sure which is the test case actually. I think this is the particular test case. Maybe we'll try to run this. Sorry guys, I think I'm boring you people.
No, nothing like that.
No, Karthik.
Okay, drag and drop that content. You saw those changes actually. It is typing something. You can see this. Hey, this is a test automation. Can you see the change somewhere over here? Hello.
Yes, Karthik.
Okay. So this is okay. This was the example which I was trying to show to you. It switched to the iframe, dragged and dropped the particular element, and sending some text over it. And, okay. I think this is basically it. I think we can wrap up the session for today. Anything we want to discuss?
No, Karthik.
Okay. I think okay. Sagar, I think just you have joined now.
I thought session is started now. After that, I noticed the time that it was 1 hour back.
Okay. 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 How was your week, Sagar?
Good. It was good.
Great.
What about you?
Not so good, man.
Yeah. Hope it gets better.
And I hope to. Okay, maybe we'll see 2 or 3 examples related to the selenium exceptions and maybe some reflection concept. And maybe we'll try to move to this framework things. Actually, I think most of the concepts in basic concepts in selenium are okay only now. But what I'm trying to suggest is if you are able to create a full-fledged framework itself, then it will be kind of very useful actually, right? It's not that difficult nowadays. I said you right. Many things are provided by the additional third-party services. We just have to integrate in our system to just have to use those things. Nothing too much complex with respect to framework creation nowadays. Any framework, even development framework, testing framework, they are kind of all the boilerplate code are given by some services only. We just have to use those services and integrate. That is it. Fine. So can we wrap up the session then?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Okay. Bye, Mithun, Sagar, and Shiva.
Bye bye.
Take care.
Take care, Karthik.
Yeah.